Welcome back to the Storytorium. As part of your treatment today, we will be covering 3 real-life ghost stories. So sit back, relax, and listen. I am a bow hunter, and I like to still hunt, which is when you dress in full camo and walk through the woods rather than sit in a tree stand. Last October, I was coming down a hill into a marshy area. It was kind of late, and enough so that the side of the mountain was covered in shadows. I live in Pennsylvania, where our mountains are completely covered in trees, and it gets dark fast. When I get to the bottom of the hill, I noticed it was completely silent, no sounds at all. I felt the hairs stand up on my arms, but I've been creeped out in the woods before, so it wasn't too big of a deal. I kept on. I've been hunting in this general area before, but I've never gone down this hill. I continue creeping through the woods. Mind you, I am walking very slow, so you can barely hear my footsteps because deer are hard to sneak up on. Then I hear a voice call out for me from behind a thicket of small trees.
"Help, Yogsotherist, come over here! I'm in trouble! Help!"
I swear it was my brother's voice. My brother lives in Nevada, so it couldn't be him, and it said my name. It only took me a second to realize something wasn't right, and when I did, I ran faster than I ever have in my entire life. Only my dad knew where I was hunting that day, and the area was huge. No one would have found me there, and he's too old to have played any tricks on me. But something out there knew my name, and it sounded just like my brother. I don't know what the heck was out there, but I don't think I'll ever be going back to the woods again. Maybe I'll move out to the desert with my brother, where at least I can see everything around me. So, 30 years ago, I'm about 13 or 14, and me and an older friend of mine are babysitting a 6-year-old girl and her younger brother. We had been told that sometimes the girl complains about seeing a ghost man in her bedroom and upstairs at night, and that he comes out through the attic door. Now, I didn't believe a word of it. Kids are weird, and they say weird things. We get the kids ready for bed, but they wouldn't settle. The girl said she felt scared, and her little brother started crying. She asked if she could sleep in her mom's bed until she got home. Little brother wanted to go with her. So I tucked them in, and we told silly stories and laughed until they were both tired. Both kids were virtually asleep when we left, door ajar, hall light on. An hour later, we were sitting downstairs watching The Equalizer, and all was good. The kids were definitely asleep, as I had to sneak past their room to use the bathroom. Had a quick peek on my way back. Little brother got a bit of a mini-shoot snore going on, but everything else was quiet. I went back downstairs and watched TV a bit more. About 20 minutes go by, and out of nowhere I hear banging. Heavy, heavy banging. The kids are screaming immediately. I run up the stairs and meet the kids as they're running out of the room. Bang, bang, bang! This time I have eyes on the kids, so I know they're not the ones making the noise. The kids fly at me. I grab the little brother, we rush down the stairs into the front room, shut the door, and we all crash onto the sofa. Everything is silent, apart from the TV, which I promptly shut off. We sat in silence for about 5 minutes, just sort of holding each other. After a few minutes, the girl, with tears in her eyes, just said in a matter-of-fact way,
"The man was angry because I wasn't in my room, so he tried to push the wardrobe over, and then he started thumping on the wall."
This event has stayed with me all these years. When I moved out of home, I moved into an old, creepy house. The heating didn't work, the windows wouldn't close properly, and the cupboards were full of these elaborate handmade shelves. There were doors that led into rooms that led to other rooms. It didn't make sense. The house just didn't seem to have a normal layout. But the creepiest room was the laundry. It was a large, square room with white tiles and a drain in the middle. Just think of a location inspired by the movie Saw. When you walked into this room, it had 3 steps down to the floor. On the right was a sink and 2 doors, one for the shower and one for the toilet. Straight ahead was the door to the garage, and next to it on the left, the cupboard door under the stairs. This cupboard was freezing cold, but it was completely cement and brick, no drafts, no gaps, just pitch black darkness. I lived with 3 other people, but our schedules were all mixed, so Tuesdays were my nights alone. I started to notice things like the sound of glass breaking in the kitchen, but when I'd walk in, nothing would be broken. I'd walk outside to get the mail and close the door behind me with my dog inside and come back to her on the front step. Then the nightmares. Night after night, I'd have terrifying nightmares of someone knocking on my door. I'd get up to answer it to no one there. All of which I'd just shake off as an idle mind. One night I was home and watching TV, and suddenly I heard a loud rattling. I jumped to my feet and walked to the laundry door where I could hear the rattling on the other side. Possibly someone trying to get in through the locked garage door, I thought. I opened the door and the garage door handle was still, but the cupboard one was not. The entire door was shaking like someone was inside the cupboard violently trying to get out. I froze, but just for a minute. I grabbed my dog and left the house until someone agreed to come over. I had a friend come over, and they walked inside with me. I sat on the stool well over a meter away from the wall. My friend sat at the table. "Maybe you have ghosts," she said. I just want to add that I was raised religious and told there's no such thing as ghosts for 18 years of my life. In my head, there had to be a logical explanation, and my fears were surely irrational. "There's no such thing as ghosts," I scoffed. Without another second, pressure on my shoulder pushed me off the stool and slammed me into the wall in one quick motion. To clarify, I didn't fall off the stool. If I had, I would have hit my head on the wall. My entire body slammed into the wall. I stood and looked at my friend, and she looked at me. We said no words. I grabbed my dog, my keys, and we got dinner out that night. Nothing was ever spoken about it, how I was thrown across the room. I moved out shortly after, but I will never say ghosts don't exist again. We here at Storytorium would like to extend our gratitude to today's donors. The authors' names and the links to the works covered in today's session will be linked in the description down below. And thank you, dear patients, for joining us for another session. Do join us again by hitting the subscribe button down below. Click that thumbs up if today's video gave you a chill. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again at the Storytorium. Bye-bye.